NCERT 12th class, first chapter, bricks, beads and bones. Two periods here. Period 1, early Harappan culture, before 2600 BC. BC means before Christ. Period number 2, mature Harappa culture, 2600 BC to 1900 BC. Number 3, late Harappa culture, after 1900 BCE, it is extended. Harappan civilization here also divided two boundaries. Number 1 is northern boundary and eastern boundary. Number 2. Number 1, Manda southern boundary, Dayamabad. Eastern boundary was Alangirpur. Western boundary, Sutkazendar. Characteristics of the Harappan civilization. Two sections. One is citadel. Number 2, lower town. Carefully planned drainage system at burials in Harappan sites. The dead was generally laid in pits. Seals and sealing were used to facilitate long distance communication. Exchanges were regulated by a precise system of veins, usually made of stone, called chet, and generally cubical with no marking. Some archaeologists are of the opinion the Harappan society had no rulers, whereas other arch- archaeologist feels that there was no single ruler but several rurals. Several explanations for the decline of Harappan civilization were climate changes, deforestation, excessive floods, the shifting and or drainage of rivers, metals also here like gold, silver, copper, bronze. Script, how to Harappan people was use and write script. The Harappan script are undisputed. undisputed. They are 375 400 signs. The script was written from the right to left. Right to left. Now we are all the people was writing like that. Craft. The place Chanhudaro was totally involved for the craft production. They were expert in bead making, shell cutting, seal making, weight making. Lothal was also one of the important place of the craft production. Modes of transportation, bullion carts and boats. All bullion carts and boats. Seals and ceilings. Seals and ceilings were used to facilitate long distance communication. Imagine a bag of goods being sent from one place to another place. Its mouth, its mouth was tied with a rope, and the knot was affected some wet clay on which one or more seals were pressed, leaving an impression. If the bag reached with its sealing intact, it means that it had not been tampered with. The sealing also conveyed the identity of the sender. Script used by Harappans. Harappan seals usually have a line of writings probably containing the name and little of the owners. Scholars have also suggested that the motif conveyed a meaning to those who could not read. Most inscriptions are short, the longest containing about 26 signs. Although the script remains undisputed to date, it was evidently not alphabetical. Stands for a vowel as it is has just too many signs, somewhere between 375 and 400. The script was written from the right to left. Some seals show a wider spacing on the right and cramping on the left, as if the engraver began working from the right and then ran out of the space. Variety of the object and the which writing has been found: shields, copper tools, rim of the jars, copper and terracotta tablets, jewelry, jewelry, bone roads, even an ancient signboards. Another point, weight system used by the Harappans. Exchanges were regulated by the precise system of weight, usually made of stone called chert and generally cubical with no makings. Lower demonetizations of weight were binary like 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, up to 12,800, while the higher demonetizations followed the decimal system. Decimal system. The smaller weights were probably used for weighting jewelry and beads. Metal scale pans have also been found. Causes of the end of the civilization: climate change, deforestation, excessive floods, the shifting and the draining up of rivers, of overuse of the landscape. Some of the causes may hold for certain settlements, but they do not explain the collapse of the entire civilization. It appears that the strong unifying elements, perhaps the Harappan state, came to end came to an end. This is evidenced by the disappearance of seals, the script, distinctive beads and poetry. Domestic architecture of Harappans. The lower town of Mohenjo-daro provides example of the residential buildings. Many were centered on a courtyards with rooms on all sides. The courtyards were probably the center of the activities such as cooking and weaving, particularly during hot and dry weather. View view of the interior of the courtyard. Every house had its own bathroom powered with the bricks and drainage connection all through the well to the street drains. Some houses have remains of the staircases to reach a second story of the roof. Many houses had wells, often in room that could be reached from the outside and perhaps used by the passers by. This is the first chapter of history, 12th history.